I try doing.
They got me singing.
There's this thing called, it's like a trend, I guess. It's called raw water.
What?
People are drinking their water fresh out of the springs.
Well, they always done that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I know what you're saying, but like, it's like this thing, this growing trend where people are going straight directly to the springs without it being filtered, none of that shit, and just drinking the spring water because they claim that it's healthier and everything else. Then people are starting to get like these sicknesses and stuff like that from the water, and it's just crazy to me. Is like people are like still trying to do this raw water type.
Because
deal.
think about it, probably not. There's probably not too clean of a source of water in the United States, even from springs, because all that shit's polluted. I think our whole underneath us is polluted. Everything.
Right.
I think it's all polluted.
All the water systems.
Animals, then the animals, they're probably infected with some crazy shit.
Well, if you look at the mule deer population around here and stuff, like they all like every
what?
Mule deer.
What the fuck
Right
is
there.
a mule? Oh, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
white
Well, then the mules, I think it's like, bucks.
bucks.
Yeah, but I wonder if mule is a separate. I mean, I just know people call them mule deer, but I wonder if it's like a different breed than the whitetail. I don't know, but
or is it just slang? That's
yeah,
used up
it might.
there?
Yeah, it might be even just slang. But like I said, whitetails. Right. When I think about that whole thing, when people go hunting for them, there's always every year there's some kind of new disease they all got. You ever notice that? Like,
Yeah, I see a lot of that stuff. I was watching something on that other day about animals. Like I actually had an update for that one episode we did, but it was telling like how animals, get diseases and pass it on to each other.
Right.
And it might not hit like it's one of those things that don't hit right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't wipe them out right away. It's like a
it develops over generations, and then eventually it comes in and gets them. Like colony collapse disease, like it's like a genetic disease, I think almost or syndrome with like the bees and stuff. Yeah, it's like almost like genetic.
So people should not drink spring water without it being filtered. But I don't know, is it any worse than what the fuck they're doing to it to give it to us? We don't know.
That's the truth. Like, do you? I mean, sure, I've drinking out of mine many times going fishing and stuff like that. I'm drinking out of the river.
I would do it right now. If we were walking and I was tired and there was no water, I'd be like,
all right, take a handful, and drink it. You know what I mean? Like, just pay the consequences. You get a fucking worm,
get diarrhea, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah,
Sometimes you gotta...
Shit, I'll tell you what was something
what were they doing back in the day?
You know what really scares me? Is Monsters Inside Me. You ever see the show on Animal Planet, The Monsters Inside Me? And it's like always about these people getting parasites and shit.
Oh, man.
Man, it's got like, that show has like 11 seasons or something. Like, it's got an amount, because like people are like obsessed with it. Like, just watching as these things like, these people like get parasites or whatever, or like, like they got like all these like, like all the things out there that exist.
I think we all have parasites, we just don't have the worst ones.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Because I don't think you can avoid having parasites.
Well, at one point you might have one in your lifetime, but
it's not the serious one. It's not the ones that are...
You'll just like, you won't even notice it.
Yeah, you're not going to notice it. Everybody has that shit. Because the shit that we eat, man, it's got to be bad for us. I can't... I watch shows on that stuff, like that one on Netflix that don't eat. Oh, speaking of Netflix, that's something like that shit that I posted on the thing, man. I'm telling you, true story, bro. I know those people, like, fully, except the one person in there. All the other ones, I know them fully for years, like, know them.
That's weird.
I can't go in depth on everything because it's crazy, but off camera, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But it was crazy.
Now, maybe for a little bit of clarification, guys, you might want to say about what's going on is in Erie, Pennsylvania. What year was it? Like early 2000s?
Like 2005.
2005, 2006. These crazy people wanted to rob a bank, essentially, and they put a collar on some guy's neck that was a bomb. And then they were going to go make him find clues and stuff, go rob a bank, find clues, and rob a bank, and, come through with the money and everything. And if he didn't get the money and the police caught him, they blew up the collar on his neck, and they actually blew it up.
They show it on the special. It's on Netflix. It's called Evil Genius, Bank Robber, or something like that. But it was just the life, you know what I mean?
How are you going to mention you know them, then you ain't even going to give the scoop?
Because you can't, I can't tell it all, I mean...
No, I'm just messing with you, but I just think that's
But
funny.
I was bothered with that, I was bothered with that for like a year. I was being harassed because they thought I knew something because I know them. And I I was renting. I was renting to own the house from his ex-wife, Kenneth Barnes, the one that actually built it.
Yeah,
he was a computer whiz, bro. He had nothing but, you go in his house, there's computer parts. He's always taking them apart and building something. So I know he did it. I know he made the shit. He was one of those guys. He can make shit. Then he made that shit. But our house was like this. This is when I was in the streets running around. I own my truth. I was in the streets running around doing what I do.
Right.
But he was part of that. So his house was like right here. And the house that I was renting to own was right here. So the backyards would connect. So I would always go, do what we do.
Oh, really? And they thought you were behind it?
They just wanted to check the house. They had no idea I had a land contract with the wife. They knew it was hers, and they knew his house was right here. So they're checking every house. And his name's on it because he's married to her. But they were just, and both of these houses were in both of their names. So they want to check that house.
Oh, so did they search your house with a warrant and everything?
Well, there was nothing really in the house. It was just being used for one thing, and then we were remodeling it, fixing things.
Oh, right.
So it just looked like that.
So were you like flipping the house then, or?
Yeah, I was gonna stay there for a while and then eventually, move on.
Right. Okay, because that's what I was.
But I lived totally somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? But I had the house was being bought to own, and I was fixing it, and I was using it for, street shit.
That's all I was wondering was just like if the DEA came in there and then like
they weren't looking for me. They weren't.
I know they weren't looking for you.
For bomb making materials.
Right, and then you would think, but I'm saying like because I remember whenever my buddy got a dorm and they were like selling drugs and shit, they flipped the whole they just ripped out everything. So I'm saying like, did you like come home one day and just saw like everything in your house was just trashed and like they were looking for like bomb making materials?
Well, you gotta understand there was like I was doing it room by room. The front room was done. The living room was already done. So I didn't have much in there. It was not meant to be hanging out. It was just me doing what I was doing there.
Oh,
business. It was a trap house. So I was just had that thing, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like everybody. I was just using it. I would leave there, go out and handle my business, and come back. Nobody ever came there except the people that were working on it.
Right.
Okay. Right. So that's what was happening. The front room was done, so everything was in there. Everything in every other room. Besides the bathroom was done because you obviously got to use the bathroom, and everything else was like tore up and was being built
on, right? Yeah. So they couldn't really find anything.
They weren't gonna. There was nothing they could tear up.
Yeah, there's nothing they could really.
They just really wanted to go in the basement and check it. And the basement was cleaned out and flat empty. So
who would want to know about that? That's just crazy. The ingenuity. I know. I'm just saying the ingenuity though of it. The innovation of it to make a necklace bomb and then like tell them that.
And it worked.
And then they go find like clues and stuff on how to get it off or something. Like wasn't that the case?
I think
it wasn't ever going to come off.
No, I think they would have took it off of him if he didn't get by the police. They would have took it off of him because they hung out with. He knew that they were planning to do this, but he didn't know that he was going to get a collar around his neck.
And that's what they thought the game was. Like that was like a game to them.
No, it wasn't a game. They wanted money. It wasn't like a game, like they're saying they're saying about like they made it like he had to go find clues. That's bullshit. They were telling him that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The end destination was the bank.
Their thing was if you get the money and you make it back to us, the collar's coming off. If you don't, because they were sitting right across the street in the parking lot and set it off. Bro. While the police were there.
But he knew about it, so did he agree to it?
No, he didn't know about. He knew that they're planning on robbing the bank, and he knew he was gonna have to do something.
Oh.
Probably was gonna be the driver to pick them up and get them away from the bridge. That's what he thought.
When you said knew something, I thought you meant like he knew about the collar bomb thing. I was about to be like, wow.
But just look it up. It's crazy. I was live in the middle of that stuff, watching that whole thing. That was a crazy time, man. Crazy time. But that's cool. Like, what else do we got? I definitely want. They're killing this broad. Like the broad. Like people got to realize, man. Some of the stuff that people do causes such a fucking problem. Like that lady that called on the people doing barbecue. That is just fucking outrageous.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, the woman who was like, "Oh, you guys can't barbecue here."
What the fuck is she talking about?
Why? Like, what's the problem? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was it taken away from your day? That's what I'm sitting there thinking to myself. Like, imagine if, like, okay, me and you are out on the street, walking down the street, and, like, maybe, like, we were playing with a yo-yo, right? And that's like someone fucking walked by and said, "Excuse me, you can't be playing with a yo-yo on this sidewalk." There's a law against it. It's like, but what was it hurting you anyway? I was like, even if it is a rule, like, am I doing anything that's really hurting anything? I'm playing with a fucking yo-yo.
But you know what's even worse about the whole scenario? Like the chick, if you were that really serious about, oh my God, I'm protecting it, and if it was against the law, then you walk away from the whole scenario, and that's what you want to do. I wouldn't do it. I don't believe in it. You go fucking do that. But she stood there and instigated that whole scenario when that other lady came up and started telling her it's not against the law. She stood there. But this is the worst part about it. But the Hall of Shame for this week is that girl. Is that lady. Do you know what her occupation is?
What's her occupation?
She's,
Hold on, real quick, backtrack here. We're talking about the lady that was, like, harassing people in a public park because they couldn't barbecue there. A lot of videos claimed that she was racist and everything else.
And that's what it turns in. I would have believed she would have did that to anybody.
Yeah, that's what I would have.
It doesn't. I don't think that she was being like, I'm raped, but that's what they're killing her on with all the memes.
Yeah.
But she's a professor at Stanford.
She's a professor at Stanford University.
Yes. And this is how she's acting.
And she's like getting all petty over people barbecuing in a park. Oh my God!
That's why.
Don't you have like things to be solving, like a research paper to write, a book or something?
Yeah, don't you have some obligations to Stanford?
You know, if she wrote a book, Coach, if she wrote a book called "Why You Shouldn't Barbecue at the Park," I would read it. I would read that book.
Bro, she's getting killed with the meat. Haven't you seen?
I know, I've seen the meme.
There's thousands of them, yo. Every time I go on Facebook or one of those, I see a new meme of her, and it's just crazy, bro. But that's how things go. Like people are just looking. You have to be miserable to do that.
Oh, I agree.
I would not stop anybody. I don't care what you're doing as long as it's not gonna hurt nobody.
Right.
If you're barbecuing, let the people come with the ticket and tell them they can't do it.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, or if you're gonna be a snitch about it, don't say it to their face. Like,
no, there's no snitching about that. You say it to their face. If you really have an issue, you go up to them and talk to them respectfully and say, "Hey, I don't think you're allowed to do this." But she didn't even know the laws.
Yeah, exactly. She's like,
so that's what kind of makes it look bad. But what I'm saying
is like, well, it does look bad regardless. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself too, like, if she didn't know the law, and you have to think about what really was the motivation there, like, you know,
could it have been
racist?
Racist, yes. Could it have been just her being like, I'm a miserable prick?
Because I'll tell you this, you know,
they're having fun.
This is actually true. Homeowners associations, you know what those are, right? Like, like the groups of people live,
private, like living
suburban areas though, where like everybody like
and
where people like you know live by certain like rules
and
stuff.
Of their
right. Well, this woman, this is a true story. My dad was talking about, was running a daycare business for 7 years in their home there. Mm-hmm. Totally was against the homeowners association. They made her close down her business that they had at that, and she had to move basically.
So they didn't know for 7 years, or they got in some little squabble and finally
said, that's the thing I don't know. But I'm saying, like, just think about the amount of pettiness, though. Like, that's the kind of, that Stanford woman's probably the same level of petty as they are. Like, because there's something they weren't getting out of the whole deal or whatever, and they're like, well, we don't want you in our neighborhood any longer, you know, and you can't be doing this.
It's 1957. You're not allowed to segregate on our beach and barbecue. It could be anything. It could be anything. We don't fucking know. But it was like, but that's what it causes. It causes people to look at that and jump right to that. Like, oh, they're black, she's white, she's acting like a total fucking idiot.
Right.
And the dude kept it calm. Like, what do you mean? I lived here for years. I know I'm allowed to use charcoal in here. You know what I mean? Dumb shit.
Talk about today, the big thing, the big kahuna, the big thing on the agenda. As many of you know, Donald Trump has recently pulled out of the Iran deal. For those of you who don't know what the Iran deal is, I'll go ahead here and go a little bit in depth. This is kind of more so what it was intended from the creation of when President Obama came out.
Build fucking nuclear weapons.
Right. In 2015, Barack Obama comes forward and says, after 2 years of negotiations, this is a direct quote, the United States and its international partners have reached an agreement that, to this point, animosity has not. Which he was referring to how in recent years we went in there, staged a coup back in the 1950s, you know, and we got rid of their democratically elected leader, and then, you know, placed in the Shah, who was friendly to American interests and oil, etc. But they come to a comprehensive long-term deal with Iran, which will prevent them from obtaining nuclear weapons. Barack went to say the deal is not based on trust, rather verification. Inspectors will have a 24/7 access to Iran's key nuclear facilities, supply chain, and mines, so they can throw uranium. So they can't throw uranium from one facility, to a covert one.
They already got that. Sorry to say.
Some of these measures will be in place for 25 years. The IEEA, the International Atomics Inspection Agency, so it's like the IAEA, can go wherever within Iranian borders. That agreement is permanent. So for the terms of the deal, because the deal is only subject to 2030, right? But there's like stipulations that phase out, but that arrangement of it is permanent. Iran's compliance with terms will receive relief from sanctions imposed on them by the U.S. and the UN because of their nuclear program. Iran has and will have diminished their enriched uranium to receive ascending levels of relief for the next decade. Iran must abide by the deal before sanctions are lifted. If Iran violates the deal, all sanctions will be snapped back into place. So that was like basically the gist of it. We'll go over like maybe some things that are exact in there, but my one question: why do you think Obama tried negotiating a deal rather than just holding the sanctions over their head and saying, "Hey, we'll invade you and kill you if you disobey us, and build a nuclear program regardless"?
Because it wasn't part of the plan. They wanted a part of the plan. That was the plan. Whatever their total was doing. I mean, what do you want? You can't, we were stretched in. What were we gonna do? We're gonna go we're gonna stay in Afghanistan. We're gonna load up some more troops and then go in Iran. We look like total fucking warmongers.
Exactly.
So we had to do something. And then my question is, it said, dude, pulled out of it. I don't see the negative. We're not paying people. He's making it seem like we're paying them. We're paying them their own money that was seized as part of the sanctions. Mm-hmm. They're making them goals off of that. And it said all the 10 visits they went and checked. They all were compliable.
Right.
So I don't understand how it's a one-sided deal. If it's stopping them from getting the nuclear weapons and actually fucking using that on somebody.
Right.
Wasn't that the goal?
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. And, I joke around because I was watching John Oliver's Last Week Tonight, and he made a joke about how, it's potentially 10 years of them not making a nuclear weapon to 0. 10 is better than 0 because now, as of today, they can make one.
They're speeding. Right now, that's what they're doing. They're saying, okay, we got this stash of these ones. They didn't find them. Good. We got away with that. Now we can just make our own fucking. We can just do what we're gonna do.
Right. Exactly. No one's stopping.
But the sanctions, though, if the other countries bail out, they think they can still do it without the U.S.
Right.
If they bail out and say we're done, it's gonna cause Iran's gonna flip.
Right.
It's gonna go crazy. It's gonna cause a big thing, and I think that's what our interests are. They want that to happen.
Right, exactly.
Just my opinion.
Yeah, but also too, you'd also be worried about, because either way, the people who are really going to suffer from this whole thing is the people of Iran.
The innocents.
Yeah, and that's what's really, that's like the real crapper of it, because we got to sit there now and we got to play hardball with them just to try and get their country to change sides and everything. I think, like you said, we were stretched thin, and Obama was just trying to ease tensions when he made the Iran deal. Because, for years, we were probably, like I said, with the staging the coups and installing, Shah's leader, taking hostages, endorsing the sanctions. We were really putting a lot of pressure on them and hurting them as a people, and, and we were kind of, not trying to try and create an air of peace. No wonder they were mad at us, you know what I mean? And Obama finally got to sit down and talk with them and be like, listen, he's like, why don't we just do this? You can, because we're really only doing this so you don't try and go and crazy.
Hit one of those, your
right.
People you got a problem with. Who does Iran have a problem with over there? Is it Israel?
It's Israel. And
so
Israel,
this is crazy.
It's more like Israel has they both have a problem with each other.
Yeah, they've been beefing with each other before America was discovered.
Yeah. The people of that area. Israel has become what it is because of people kept flooding in there. All these Jewish people came from different areas. When the
Palestinians in the when
World War II ended and everything else, and World War II started, and all the Jews were getting killed out in Austria and everything, people started flooding into Israel, which was like the Jewish state.
Capital.
Right, and at the end of World War II, they kind of like divvied it up and said, all right, Palestinians, you'll be here, and, you know, Israelites, you'll be here. And that's like, kind of like what the whole beef is of the Palestinians and them is like...
They want control. Each side wants control.
Right, of this land that they both gave them, which is kind of messed up. Why would you even... You should have just, I mean, it sucks because they're two nomadic factions in a sense. Like, the Palestinians want that land, and they're both like trying to claim that they need it, and they want it, and that's theirs. You know? So it's a hard situation. But...
Plus the oil.
Yeah, right. And... But for Iranian people to start believing in America, I think we need to lift the sanctions and make an attempt to help better the people of Iran. That's what I was saying about how they're suffering, you know, and they're the ones that are kind of making out bad. Considering the deal to be better than the alternative, which would end up being probably an all-out war, nuclear arms race in the Middle East. Because if you think...
Nobody's gonna... They might be stupid enough to drop one on somebody over there, knowing what a smaller version, but they're not dumb enough to, like, start a nuclear war with anybody.
Right. Well, that's what I'm...
They're just saying, like, they might make something that they could drop on somebody, right, that we wouldn't be able to intervene and stop.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is they want nuclear arms, because I see what they're saying.
They should have them, though. I think they should have them.
Right, because Israel has them, and they have 300 warheads, they have none. They're sitting, Israel's like, oh my God, you can't let them get them. And it's like, but you got them. What makes you so much better than them, you know? As like your belief system.
You want to stop them, and they're no crazier than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Their beliefs, like, plus, we got to understand, though, we're not from there. So we don't really understand. We're only going on what we're being told.
Yeah, like, I mean, and like
we don't know how them people really feel.
We never grow up there. We don't know what life's like.
We don't know what it's like there, because that shit could be, I mean, I've seen some things that's like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Like, they'll bomb while you're sitting out with your kids.
Right, they don't even
You know, they take their kids to protest and throwing rocks and shit. That it gets crazy over there. So...
Oh, and even, it's funny, it's like, a lot of people in, like, Israel, like, you know, the people that live there, the Israelites,
The Israelites?
Yeah.
Is that what they call them?
Israelites, they got, like, all kinds of different...
Israelites? I never heard that.
The Israeli people, Israelites. It's, like, real, like, everybody's, like, a slang for them, you know? But, they, like... There's like all these military conflicts that happen there, like daily with the Palestinians, and like the people who live there, just like, the Israel people just kind of hang out, enjoy themselves, like they just kind of stay away from the conflict. There's like walls built, like it's crazy over there. Like how do you even live a life of normality with that, you know? But
it's also, you got to put it like this. That is like one section, but Saudi Arabia is beautiful. You got like rich princes and kings, or is there kings? Saudi Arabian kings? Pharaohs or something?
Yeah, it's like a monarchy, I believe.
They're rich, they live great, it's beautiful. The parts of Saudi Arabia is beautiful. This would probably be like Chicago for us. Like Chicago's a mess, it's a killing zone. That's probably what, it's just a section, certain sections. But like our bad neighborhoods around the country. That's what it is.
And I was watching some like reports and stuff when like you'd like talk with like Al Jazeera and stuff like that. When they go to Iran and talk to them about their fear of the new sanctions being in place, like they're scared because life's actually been improving slowly over time there for them because they have, you know, economic freedoms now and jobs, everything easy to come by because they're not placing sanctions. So American and European companies are willing to invest in them, and that's good. It creates jobs. Now, what was also something I think we should go over is some of the stipulations of the deal. So here, I'll just go ahead and list these off. After 15 years, Iran could produce as much nuclear fuel as it wanted. Research on centrifuges after 8 years. Reduce their current supply of uranium by 98%, thus reducing the time to make a singular bomb to a 1-year period. Not being able to test warheads and or detonators, so like not being able to test the ballistic missile.
So they can make one a year or something like that, right?
Right, yeah.
And then you can't, you don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, right, but limiting the tests on those. And then also, this is a really cool thing that I read into, like I said, this is from Time Magazine, or is it the New York Times? It was one of the magazines. Yeah, it was New York Times. Diplomats also came up with unusual procedure to snap back the sanctions against Iran if an 8-member panel determines that Tehran is violating the nuclear provisions. The members of the panel are Britain, China, France, Germany, Russia, the United States, and the European Union, and Iran itself. A majority vote is required, meaning that Russia and China and Iran could not collectively block action the report Donald Trump received was from Israel, which is funny to me, which isn't on the panel and has disagreed with the deal since its conception. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But, you know, it's kind of crazy that, like, they got all this footage and all this information, and they're not even a part of that panel. You know, that was a part of the Israel. They're not a part of the panel.
Who said that? Where did Israel come from if they're not on the panel? What are you saying? Like,
Trump
got the info? How did he get the information?
Because they gave maybe you didn't.
He said that out of his mouth. I got this from Israel.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because and there's a video that I looked up, and it's not really I looked up. It's like it's kind of going around. It's the Prime Minister of Israel or the Secretary of Defense. I don't know who it is. It might even be like their like president. I'm not sure who the guy is, but. He's sitting there and he's like showing like, look, it's all a lie, it's all based on lies. And he puts up like this, he pulls up this slideshow and he has like all these binders, all these discs, and he's like, look, see, like, and I'm like, I could put a slideshow up and make a bunch of stuff look like it's nuclear too, and then tell you it's a bunch of BS.
You could, but like,
but I'm just saying,
we do it here with like the riots,
right?
Like, if you really seen what was going on around what they're showing us, it's not that bad. It's a fucking bunch of idiots punching each other and throwing rocks at each other.
Right.
It's not a big fucking chaotic place like they're trying to make it seem.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like I feel like that's what they're doing. Yeah. They're sitting there trying to say like I think that's what's going on. I mean, I said I'm not over there, so I can't definitively say. But I'm just saying like it's really weird for them to come out of the woodwork and say that
because they have an interest.
And they do.
And I don't. Do we know what's the interest you think they have? I don't know what it is.
They just want Iran and all the other Middle Eastern countries around them to suffer because they're scared. Because they are a totally different faith. Nobody in the Middle East wants them there. Nobody wants Israel there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Why? Isn't that like one of the natural like places?
It's because it's the difference. Because they're Jewish, they're Muslim. They believe this is like the holy sites to them, like Jerusalem and everything else.
So it's Jews against Muslims, basically.
Yeah, in a sense, yes. And like I said, like they don't want there because of religious beliefs, and it's just a bad deal. That's the bad deal, really. If Donald Trump's talking about bad deals, that's the bad deal.
What?
Because those people were there, and it's just a bad place for them to be. Like Israel, yeah, because
I don't understand how it's a bad deal. Though.
Because
they've been there way before who the fuck are we to decide?
Right, but I'm saying like at the same time, it's a bad deal for them years. Because they're surrounded by people, all these countries that don't want them there, and it's just crazy. Because like at one point, like it's like when because in the Middle East is like a nuclear race.
Israel's our ally, right?
Yes, correct.
So they're pretty much protected.
Pretty much,
but. They don't fuck like when they went over there and did Syria because they said what Syria did. The same thing is happening in Israel.
What do you mean the same thing's happening?
There was no proof that they dropped gas on that they said what they said where they strike those fucking places. But there's shit that's going on in Israel right now. They're beefing with each other right now. Still are. I mean, killing people.
Right.
So what I don't it means we're only going to protect our interests. It seemed like with the deal that it was the best thing for the time because our military was already in conflict, and that was the best way to try to keep peace in that area without it blowing up between them two was with that deal.
Right.
So now, like, what is the problem? I don't understand why he's saying it's a one-sided deal for us because we're not giving anything except being part of the
sanctions. But we also gave them $100 billion.
We gave them back their money
in sanctions, right? Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But people are saying they gave them back $100 billion.
Yeah, but they're not saying it was their money,
right? Because it was the money that we took from them due to sanctions. And
that's crazy.
Yeah. And they're like, well, all they did is put it back into military use and everything else. I said, well, when you're in an area that's so destabilized, of course they're going to put it back into military use. I mean, and they're like, well, they didn't use it for their people, but people in Iran have said that their lives improved after the sanctions were lifted because it started creating jobs. Let me talk about the things that benefited them, and I'll talk about some of the companies that came in. Okay, so companies such as Total, which is a French oil company, have come in to help them build some of the largest gas and oil fields, as well as BP. Airbus, which is an aeronautics company. China is actually the biggest buyer of Iranian oil in the country, and it's helped create jobs and grow their economy.
And that's why they're allies with them.
Right. Wait, who's
China is allies with Iran and Russia and
right, because they support
all those areas.
Yeah, because they support oil and everything. So And all that could have come of the deal for me, in my opinion, is good. I mean, all that could come of is good. And they said, well, because it's this paranoia, I think, of like them always because I know they are the terrorists, funder, everything else. But I feel like a lot of these extremist groups that come out are how to put it, like not always directly associated with the government of Iran, because they're always there. Because if they were, there would only be one terrorist faction. Do you know what I mean? If they were directly associated with someone else. Why is there like 7 different factions over there between ISIS and Hezbollah?
They come from all over.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And they all have like their own different beliefs and all these different agendas and everything else.
Okay, saying all those things that you're saying, like the report is, we don't know if that's an actual report or not, because we don't know. We don't know. We're only knowing what we're being told.
Right.
Until we go over there and like be like amongst the people and actually get a poll for ourselves, we're just going off what people are saying. One side saying crazy stuff that probably ain't true. One side saying crazy stuff that half of it probably ain't true, half of it probably ain't true. But what I'm saying, this is why we have so much problems. Who are we to say anything about what they are doing? If they took their money and chose not to spend it on the people and fixed all their problems,
yeah,
and chose to do military, we do the same thing.
Right. I agree.
Our people are starving over here. Our veterans are not being treated very well after they're useless.
I totally agree.
So why do we stick our nose into something just to protect other people's interests? This is how I know it's all bullshit. The government is just fucking fake to me. It's all about protecting whoever's interest that our government is representing. The lobbyists, the companies, and the puppet master, all those.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. So if you're in the way, because it's proven, like you said, the coups. Yeah. They always started a coup. They did it. That's how they put Saddam Hussein.
Because they weren't doing what they wanted them to do.
Yeah.
And then
once they don't,
and then right there, 1979, they overthrew the leader because they were like, we don't want this guy here. He's not working for our best interests. He's working for you guys. And they threw him out. And then they got a new guy in there who the Iranian people, for the majority, like. I mean, it is.
Has he been there? I haven't really researched.
I mean, I agree. Though,
I try to stay, because Middle East, it's like.
I agree.
It's a tough scenario.
Yeah, because it's a lot of theocracy. It's not really democracy. It's like, what I mean? Like, we believe in this religion, and that religion dictates our lives. And that's true. But people are still people. Like the Iranian people, when you go there, they're still there. They're like us. They're like me and you. They just want healthcare, to be fed, to be alive, and be able to live the best life they can, or have the opportunity to live that. They're just like everybody else, any other person. Because and so I just hate that that's what's happening over there. And we were talking about how Trump, said he wanted to leave the deal, and I was going to reiterate again, that's why he did, because of Israel. That video that they released of like that press conference and him like showing all this information, all these.
So he's going on that.
Yeah, all these.
It's more than that. He knows exactly what's.
But we don't know this.
The intel.
But that's what he claims.
They have the intel.
That's what I'm saying. That's what he claims, though. But so the big question. So one of the bigger questions here: will the other countries partaking in the deal leave the deal?
If they do, it's going to be all-out chaos in Iran and Israel.
I agree, but I don't think that they will. I think they're really going to try and stick it out.
And probably.
And
isn't Syria in between those two on the map?
Israel and Iran?
Yeah, or is Iran more up?
I thought Syria was off to the right of it. Maybe we'll have to go look and pull up like a map or something.
Yeah, we'll check it out right here, wherever it's at. But if it is, we're just gonna if it is in between, say Syria, that's gonna destroy 3, you know what I mean? 3 little countries. They're gonna be at war, and they're just gonna destroy a lot of innocent people's life. I just don't see why I take it away. If it was working and they were compliant.
Right, because as everybody will say from all the administrations and the team, the atomic agency that inspects them.
They said they did 10.
No. There's Iran, Iraq, Syria. There's let me see. There's 3 countries, like you said. There's Syria, Iraq, and Jordan, all between them and Iran.
Okay, Israel, Iran. Okay. Yeah, so Iraq, Jordan, Syria. Syria's up there. They probably fucked that. All this place is going to be tore up. Top of Saudi Arabia.
But because what it did is it stopped a nuclear Cold War it slowed down a nuclear Cold War in the Middle East. That's what the Iran deal did, because it stopped them from getting the nuclear weapons right away, and then like everybody else like getting all scared, like what's Iran gonna do tomorrow? You know what I mean? Because that's how like Americans lived with the whole Russian scenario for a long time. And that's what it almost felt like it was going to become. And, now you've destabilized the area again, because now you're going to make Iran even worse off country when you start placing sanctions on them again. They're going to be stressed out. They're going to want something better, and that's where these religious theocracies thrive, because then there's people become desperate, and they're able to then manipulate. Do you know what I mean? And say, like, these are the people that we got to get. And it's the them versus you mentality. You versus them mentality.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's crooked, but you got to look at that scenario as just like anybody else's scenario. To me, it's the same as everything else. Like, we got crazy kook people over here that want to overthrow the government.
Oh, I agree.
And it's just a small amount of them, or they would have tried it already.
Right, and people.
So over there, it's not like you said that the people, average people, everyday people, are not on that bullshit. They're on just, okay, we're just trying to live peaceful. Why can't we live peaceful? They're crying in the street. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And it's so bad. And I'll go into the next question I had, which was, will America's withdrawal create the desired effect? If we leave, do you think it'll fix the problem? And I'll say the whole point is to get the Iranians to never have nuclear capabilities, period. That's basically what they were trying to do. In Obama's sense, they were just trying to slow it down.
They were trying to slow it down to buy some time to keep negotiating.
Because Obama said that trying to destroy the knowledge that they already have would have been impossible. So rather, they advised them to reduce their arms and then try and nurture a relationship with Iran and allow them to grow. And now, I don't believe it will grow. I don't believe we will have that relationship with Iran.
Well, that was one of their rules, though, too. That part of the inspection was, we need to see all your past research. That was in there.
Yeah, right.
We need to know what you know. So he seen that report and said,
they know so much. I mean,
we can't. We're gonna have to ease this. We're gonna have to do it like that.
Right. I mean, because inevitably, and this is the truth of I hate that the United States is trying to be these nuclear police officers. Eventually, all these countries in the world are gonna start wanting nuclear power, developing it, because it's efficient, it's crazy powerful. I mean, I'm not just talking about nuclear weapons. I'm talking about nuclear power. You know, it's the future in a sense. It is the future.
Well, that's what's being used now.
Yeah, it is, but not
just the countries that we don't want to have, like the powers don't want.
Right, because they're scared of what they might do with the weapons capability.
This is my thing. Okay, you got the UN, right? Mm-hmm. What is the UN's purpose?
To basically take care of the world, almost be like the sister, bring everybody.
You got representatives from there, and you guys sit down and you talk about is this really that big of a deal, and gather the information and say, collectively we have to do this. So, but what do? We don't bother with we do pretty much whatever the F we want to do, with the support from Britain, France, all our allies.
And I'll tell you what. For months now, the EU and a lot of European nations don't really like us, and Trump's been doing things that really
pissing them off.
Because Trump, his domestic policy, I mean, he's been doing okay. But what I'm talking his foreign policy and working with other nations around the world, he's been a total douchebag. And I know his mentality is America first, but the EU's after he backed out of the deal, the Iran deal, he's like, what are you doing? And they're like, okay, well, we got to try and save this.
Was that just the left get rhetoric, or was both sides saying it?
Both sides of what?
Our Republican, were they saying, yo, this is gonna get outrageous, or are they just giving the same answer, we're behind whatever?
No, because the conservatives and the people, the Trump supporters, come out and were like, yeah, he did what he said he was gonna do, guys, woohoo! And I'm like,
and he's doing petty shit to other people that doesn't have nothing to do with this. How is an Iranian deal, whether it's there or not, affect us really? How does it affect us? It doesn't, unless we choose to go get our nose in it.
Right, directly it doesn't affect us. I don't believe so. No, directly.
I don't give a fuck about what Iran does, to be honest.
Right, you know what I mean?
I don't.
I don't care, but at the same time, I do. But at the same time, like, it's only if they're really posing a threat. And I understand why they want that because of the terrorist organizations that are based up out of there. Their relationship.
Eventually, like, if they're able, the capabilities, like, to me, this is mind-blowing. This is where it gets weird as fuck. You can't tell me, like, okay, they have the capability to make one instead of take a year. You can't tell me that some of that shit falls in the wrong hands, just like it does in our country.
Right.
You can't tell me that there's no terrorist. If there's really a big terrorist movement like they're trying to say there is, but I don't think it is. I think it's a totally different story, and the reason why, and they make it hype like these people are after America, because we go cause destruction, and then when we rebuild it, because war's money, we get involved with that. All the contracts go to American companies, and then they don't hire
those people
that just got their whole fucking life level.
Right, and then they don't get any money.
So they're like, we hate the Americans.
Yeah, agreed. And like I said, and I think the Iran deal was nice because it helped nurture that relationship with the people and be like, hey, like, you know, we're able to.
If it was helping, they're probably like, oh, that was a great deal.
Right, exactly. And then that's the thing, though. Trump was saying we were giving way too much to them, but it's like, yeah, but think about the years past when you guys were sitting there and, like, not you particularly, like, you know, Trump, but like presidents in the past where we went and tried to do our own thing in Iran. You know, that's what we're going to think about. We've done a lot of things to screw them over, you know, so we should try and at least try, because we can't. That's the problem that I think, the battle that is a losing battle. We keep trying to stop all of these countries from having nuclear weapons and nuclear capabilities and everything else, but the problem is we can't do that all the time. Now, you know what's really funny, too, and I'll go into the repercussions that America is now going to feel from this. This is actually one that I said about earlier that I wanted to circle back to. Countries like Russia and China are going to benefit from this because they're going to be encouraging to both do more trade with those countries. They're going to get more influence from those two countries, Iran is, and they're also going to be able to get that oil from them. You know,
they're already getting oil.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like they're going to get even more so because we were buying from them, and we're
stop buying from. There's going to be more available for. And China and their allies to buy.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying you get that influence in trade and other aspects as well. And also, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and it's kind of putting a wedge, like I said now, because the foreign relation, because of what they did.
It's going to affect us in gas prices.
Yeah, I know that. That was actually
major.
Yeah, it's going to affect our gas prices.
It's going to go way up. So all those tax things, unless you fix the problem ASAP, we're going to go through another couple, like when Bush was president. Remember that? You were young, but it was a long time.
Right,
when the shit was like at $3.91, $4 for a gallon for gas.
Right,
because that was crazy.
Yeah, because of all the things that were happening in the Middle East there.
Because of Afghanistan, Iraq, and all that shit. So it's crazy, man. There's some interest that interests them. But we're saying it's like, okay, this is the thing that I just don't. To me, it's like one of those things like they're trying to slide through the back door. Because this partakes in it too. And it's not as big as news as what's going on in Iran and Israel. Is that the sanctions thing that Trump let China get away with that ZTE company.
Right. Yeah, because
they turned around and invested $500 million into Trump's company, overseas companies. So how you can't tell me that's a big deal? Bigger than all of that. America's not coming first from that because now that's going to, like, we don't want to destroy China's jobs. But if that was the case, like if you're saying how the sanctions are supposed to work, why you did it on other things, because it's going to help, we just need to do American stuff, why did you let that one pass? Right.
You know what else, something interesting I've been following, and I think it actually comes in light of the whole Iran deal. This is one of the repercussions I think we're going to be feeling too. The North Korean summit. We were supposed
they're starting to be like,
no, they don't want to do it, and they were saying because of practices in South Korea for that, the Operation Thunder, whatever it was,
where the American and South Koreans were
like practicing for a defense
in front of them.
Right? Yeah, exactly. After they just
they were on the borders, like, is that the fucking Americans over there? What the fuck? We were supposed to have a sit down and squash all this.
Right, but that's then they said, but it was planned and they knew about it for months. That's what. They're being said. But here's what I think it is. I think it has more to do with the Iran deal because they just saw how the Americans valued a deal or a treaty with somebody. Because Trump, and then they made that deal 3 years ago, and another administration came in and just threw it in the garbage, just trashed
Obama.
it. And that's
everything that has Obama's name on it. They attack it,
right, and that's
because they believe that's what their followers want. They might necessarily give a shit. It's not in their interest, but they believe that's how they're looking ahead for their next vote, saying we have to do the things we said we were going to do to get elected. And everybody hates Obama, so everything that has Obama attached to it, we're just going to attack it. And they're going to think that we're doing everything in our power for them. And then all the bullshit slides through that are their personal interests.
Right.
That's how it works, man. Everybody does it. Everybody, when you get that power, you're representing some companies, you know what I mean?
Right.
The lobbyists.
There's companies with better GOP or gross domestic product (GDP) than companies more powerful than, companies more powerful than countries and gross domestic product, which is crazy. I mean, like Walmart and them beats out whole countries in terms of production. Like, it's crazy.
Because they abuse the system. We're always, like, when you hear welfare and all that, what do you think when people, like they make it seem like it's all the poor people, like, eating off the system and all that. But Walmart is one of the biggest abusers of the system because they don't pay their people enough. They pay them enough where they can still get assistance.
And only give them enough hours, so they stay
short
of benefits.
So they got to use medical benefits.
Right, it's crazy.
So it's all fucking bullshit to me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, now we gotta look at this career situation because now everybody, I just heard applause and praise, and I'm like, and you know what was funny too? I did some research into it. This whole scenario that's happening in North Korea happened back in 2007. They shook hands, South Korea, North Korea. They shook hands, did the whole thing, and they still got to this point again. Where they just were not even a year ago.
And I'm looking at it like the same thing. Like, okay, how many years went by? How many years went by since the World War II?
Yeah.
Or the Korean War?
Or the Korean War was like the 60s or...
Okay,
yeah.
The 60s. We'll say the 60s. MASH. That show MASH.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, so that was 40, 58 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Do we really think... Does North Korea really think, like, we're going to... They would have did something by now.
Yeah. I agree.
If they were, are they really going to stand up and say we're going to attack South Korea?
When I think about North Korea, though, I think it's a respect thing. Like, the reason why they want nuclear arms is because they have a bargaining chip. They don't want to give that up because everybody just wants them to get rid of their nuclear weapons, and that's why they have that power though, because we aren't talking to all these other countries that are sitting there in poverty dying. Except for North Korea because they got weapons, nuclear weapons, and everybody's like all scared of them. It makes them it gives them a chip on the table.
I think that's just a pissing thing. Like that's but I don't think them people want to shoot that shit.
No, they don't.
They're just like pissing,
yeah.
like saying, "Look, motherfucker, if you got them, we got them. We should be able to have them, and we'll show you we'll use them." But if you drop a nuclear, it's over.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying they don't want to. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't think they want to. They want to have those things so that, because as soon as they give those things up, you're Iran. You're in no position to bargain anymore because you got rid of all your stuff. And sure, maybe you're getting rid of the sanctions and everything.
You would get totally taken over.
Right, exactly.
If you weren't able to produce and get sanctions and be a part of the modern day world, and sanctions are put on you, and you got to be told we're not told what to do.
Right.
It's just crazy. I can't see somebody telling another culture how to live.
Yeah.
If it ain't a collective of the world. If the UN got together and everybody said, "Yo, Korea's bugging," dude over there,
"Yo, Korea's bugging,"
he might actually push the button. We're gonna have a problem. So let's all step in. Not just the United States be the bully all the time. That's why everybody hates us.
Yeah.
That's why when you go over to other countries, I wouldn't want to go to another country and say I'm American because they might go to their restaurant, they might spit in my food or give me a disease. Because they hate the things that we do to them.
Right, because we're arrogant, and what's funny is a lot of people over here are arrogant douchebags in that sense, and we're thinking like we have a superiority, like, well, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that, and it's like, but who are we? Because we have our own problems in this country. Between
Flint doesn't even have good water yet.
Or we're talking. I'm just talking about Flint. I'm talking about we got kooks shooting each other here, just going crazy.
Did you call? You just gave a racial slur. You better edit that.
Kooks.
Kooks is a
crazy.
Racial. Oh, Kooks. Crazy. I thouyou
Not
said Gooks.
No, not Gooks.
I was about to say that was
No,
racial as
Kooks,
fuck, bro.
like cuckoo.
We're never gonna get a sponsor. You just said that.
No.
I misheard you.
No, but like I said, we got crazy people over here shooting each other, and we're not even dealing with that because we're worried about these
it's
other people and this
true,
other.
but it's so small amount.
I know, but I'm saying there's people, but we're worried about the other people in their country going, hey, they're killing each other over there and everything. I understand it's a UN, it's a total problem over there, and
We shouldn't always be like, oh yeah, we'll do it. It seems like football practice. You're practicing for a game, and say like the game just keeps like everybody keeps falling out of league, right? But we keep practicing. The game schedule, they be like, no, we don't want to play. So you're hungry. We're thirsting at the mouth. Then all of a sudden the team says, let's play. You're like, oh, let's go do it. A team over there, like, they want to start something. Let's go do it. Let's go show them who we are. That's what America does.
Right.
They jump up in front of it, like, let's go. Oh, they don't want to do it. Let's do it. Come on, bomb.
Bomb.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And people are out there like, that's patriotic. That's not patriotic. To just say, oh, those people are over there doing these things.
You know what?
We don't live. Let's go over there and destroy their fucking lives. And then bring them over here, give them taxes, and I don't care because it says that that's what it says. Bring us your. When do you decide to say no? We can't take that no more. It's
Right.
part of what America was built on.
And I tell you what, our American military has become almost like a private contractor for some countries because some countries don't even have a military without us.
Right.
So like it's like they're under our protection, kind of like some kind of weird mafia. Yeah.
Bro, we're on the world stage. We're the new world, bro.
Yeah, I know.
We're crazy with it.
But
I just don't agree with. I mean, some things like at any given time we could destroy anybody that wanted to mess with us. The only problem we'd have is if Korea and Russia and Germany, those capable people, said, you know what, let's go to war with them. Because somebody's going to have to press the button and it's going to be over for all of us.
Right.
Because just imagine, you can't go over there. Just imagine if Russia said, you know what, if you, like they said about Syria, we're going to cause some problems if you bomb again. If you imagine if we had to go over to Iran and Russia was like, we're not going to let you do that.
And that's how it is. That's why a lot of these countries, that's why we're not trying to invade these Middle Eastern countries anymore because
Russia's pretty much like,
and China, and you know what? Even the EU at this point, like the European Union, isn't even happy about it. Because like Boris, what's his face from the UK, and then they had that summit at Brussels. Then France, Germany, they sat down to try and negotiate a deal. Now this is the last thing I kind of want to talk about. The final repercussion of this whole Iran deal falling through is a potential war, an all-out war in the Middle East. Like we're talking potentially. I mean, I know it's cliche, but we're talking about potentially the third world war. We're talking about it because we pull out of this deal, okay? And the EU, say the European countries that are in the panel, they can't get them to agree to a new term on the Iran deal. So Iran begins its nuclear program again. They don't care. They know the sanctions are coming. The Americans broke their deal. The EU and them couldn't find a negotiable one, so they just kept it going. And then Israel's going to get scared because they're now building nuclear weapons again, and they're, you know what I mean? The story writes itself. Syria's destabilized. All these countries around there are destabilizing, and slowly but surely, someone's going to crack over there. Someone's going to snap. Someone's going to get at the other one, whether it's Israel and Iran or Iran with
I
some
think
other
they're only
country.
going to do that with the permission, though, from Russia and China.
They
don't want no problem with Russia and China.
And that's what I'm saying, is Russia and China, that's what I'm saying, because once one of those countries acts, America's going to, like you said, they're the football team ready to go. Let's go.
Let's run the fucking Middle East and play in Saudis. Let's do it.
Right, and
it's crazy.
And they're ready to go. They're ready to do it. And the minute they're going to make that move, one of those countries that's supporting them, like Russia and China, is going to step in and say, hey, if you're going to come in, I was like, you need to understand, like, we're not going to let you. If you come in, and at that point, we're going to be at a stalemate. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're going to be at a stalemate where it's going to be a staring match, or it's going to be go time. Because either what they're going to do...
And if it's go time, like, if they agree to keep it on the land, which I don't see them... I mean, nobody wants to drop that bomb, but if it got to that where we had to go... You know, we're at a total disadvantage What are they going to do? Not for them coming to us. We're going to go to them.
Right, exactly.
And we're going to count on France, our things, to come and send troops. It's going to be a mess.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll be a mess.
It's going to be the next World War. That's what I'm saying.
Fought over in the Middle East, it's not going to be like how the other world wars were.
Yeah, like all over Europe and everything. But
because we were just basically fighting Germany in the two wars, right?
Yeah, Germany and Italy, which, you know what I mean? But we're talking about Russia, China.
Russia,
we're
and
talking,
China.
We're talking like this is a summer blockbuster right here, man. Like
they would rip through. We would have a crazy amount of casualties.
This is I would be like a
we
Marvel
would have
Studios
to pull
cast.
out.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, but then at that point, if you commit and then you pull out and you lose, I mean, the economics.
It's egg in your face.
Exactly, and that's why I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if we allow that to happen. You know what I mean? Like that's what.
If you go, you got to realize you got to go all the way.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's either going to be a staring match or it's going to be an all-out war. Because what they're going to do is they're going to say something. America's going to try and say something. Russia's and China's going to be like, hey, hold up. I was like, can't come in here. I was like, let them, because Russia, China's going to be like Russia's over here, America's over here. They're in the middle, and they're going to be staring at each other, saying, hey, you come over here. It's over. We're snapping too. Like, let them sort it out. Let them sort it out.
We gotta stay.
We
gotta stay out of it and fix our shit, man.
Yeah.
Be on alert. Get the intelligence. If it's something that is agreeable with our, like the UN and all that we have to, participate in something to shut something down. I agree, but we don't do that. We don't even form our own Congress nowadays. What we're doing. You got to do it when you're going an all-out war. But when you plan on something like that, you don't have to inform anybody. You can just do it like they bombed Syria. There was no. They didn't inform nobody. They didn't ask for permission.
And then the Congress was all mad about it the next day when it happened. But
that shit really could have ignited because if we're to believe that China and Russia were like because you notice they said that and then the talk stopped about Syria. There's going to be repercussions if you do that again.
Right.
It was just that simple. That's all they said. And then we were like, okay, we knew we could get away with something. They didn't really bomb any. I don't even.
No, they just the facility.
It was empty fucking shit.
Yeah,
it was
just
bullshit.
Because they were saying they were chemical. They were full of chemical weapons.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand now. We stand in an uncertain place where potentially.
I think something's going to happen.
I think
conflict.
Exactly.
Not a war, a conflict, and
exactly.
It has the potential to go to.
That's what I'm saying. Either it's going to be an internal conflict where we have two nations that are we're going to have a rising conflict because now it's not because we had time. That's the thing with the Iran deal. We had time to try and sort things out. We had 10 years and maybe even nurture a relationship where Iran was like, you know what, we're fine. We don't even want to nuke anybody no more. We're not mad at anybody anymore. We had time to nurture that relationship. We had time to help try and clear out some of these terrorist organizations and within the countries in the Middle East. We had time, but now that was all just thrown away because the deal was bad. It was one-sided.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's bullshit to all me. It has nothing to do with protecting any people over there. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with straight money and interests and lobbyists and money. Bottom line, money. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit about what's going on over there at all. All they want to know is are we going to get something is it going to protect our interests? Are we going to get something out of it? Other than that, they've been doing this for years. We don't get involved.
Right.
Like the biggest story, like all this right here can happen. It's possible. Can it be something big? I don't really think. I think a little conflict might happen if Iran. But to be honest, what I think about it, my opinion, we're discussing about what it looks like, comments like what they're saying it looks like. But this is all the same thing that they did to Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein.
Right.
When they're done with you, and you're not part of the banking system, we're going to attack you and take your resources. And I think Iran is next on the list. But there's a problem, though, because Russia and China are like, they thought they were poking the bear to see, are you guys really going to stand up for them if we come in there and do something? And just from Syria, they're like, don't do it again. So they're poking to see is Iran the next one. Because it doesn't make no sense. Why eliminate something that was working? And that means you want to start something.
Right. Well, again, there's things we don't particularly know, like I said, because we're only going off the information of things that we've been announced and how people have said them. So when you say Donald Trump says about this from the information he got from the Israelis, about that information that they found of all these things, and that's what he's basing it off of. He made his judgment off of that information. He basically saw some guy come up on a slideshow with a bunch of like discs and binders on screen or on stage with him.
And you think that's where he naturally got all of his intel from?
Well, I mean,
he didn't use our intel to compare.
He's still the same. Well, no, because obviously not, because all these other countries, like the EU, that's why they're trying to save the deal, because they're like, what are you talking about? As far as we're concerned, we've had the AE or the Atomic Agency come in, inspect. We haven't found anything that would violate it. Not only have
just like the mass destruction thing.
Right.
There was no weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
And they used that to just destroy and take Saddam and hang him in the freaking
streets.
Yeah. Take his gold and riches, pass it out, pay bills.
Pay bills, yeah.
Take some home with you.
Yeah, put it in your pocket, everybody gets a piece.
It's crazy. I just don't want to see. I'm looking at it like we need to. The interest of that, if it's out of hand and we all collectively agree with the UN, let's handle it. But if it's not, let's fix what's going on here. That's easily fixable. But that's why I just said my honest opinion is I think it's all just smoke and mirrors.
Right. But I'm just
government and vote and all. It's just bullshit to me.
But I'm saying the Iran deal.
Yeah.
The kind of the closing point on that is it gave us time where we could actually sit down and we didn't have to worry about Iran because we could just say, hey, the sanctions are lifted, you can do your own thing. We'll keep an eye on you and make sure we'll have the Atomic Agency monitor you, and then that gave us more time to not have to worry about what's going on over there. Now we have to worry about it again.
We're not worried about Iran at all. Because the minute that they get to that point,
I'm saying
Russia's going to be like, yeah, we can't let them have bombs. Because they're not going to, we don't know how, are they totally loyalists to us? Like, are they going to, not shoot one of these things that, and cause us problems? Are they going to do that?
I think the reason why those countries stay on the same page with each other, like China, Russia, the Middle Eastern countries, is because they have kind of a mutual disliking towards the West.
And the battleground. They know all the battle has to come there.
Right.
They're not going to try to come to the United. If you go to the United States, it's over.
Right.
They're going to have to shoot the bombs. They're not that would cause anything. They already know that because our defense system, we would start using lasers and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would use everything we had to stop that from happening. Everything short from the nuclear bomb.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but in closing, the Iran deal, I believe, was a good deal, and I can't believe we got out of it. And now, us in America, the world is going to face the repercussions of this, and it's kind of thrown ripples into the credibility of our nation. And now, we're going to be suffering the consequences, whether it be gas prices, the potentiality of a war, a nuclear arms race now in the Middle East, and a lot of dissatisfaction from us from other countries. Even people that are considered our allies.
Everybody knows everybody over there thinks we're fucking idiots. One.
Yeah, but it's just the power that we bring to the table.
Two-faced Indian givers.
Right.
My point on it is I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. Anything that have to do that they're telling us is bullshit. There's more to the story. There's interest that people want. It's all about money, global takeovers. They don't care about nothing that they're saying about. They don't give a shit what they think about us. They don't care what they're doing. They're just collecting interest and all this, the deal and whatever the deal was in real life. You know what I mean? I think if it stopped them from doing it, they should have never messed with it. They should have just, if you thought something was going on, then okay, we're sending in people right now and they're going to be there for a while. Send in people and check.
Yeah.
Get the information.
And they do.
For first hand. The UN should be doing it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I'm saying. But I think the Atomic Agency is a subdivision of the UN. It's like
but they say they're compliant.
Right, exactly.
And we're just and Trump's
that's why,
just being
and that's why, again, like I said, that's why they had moved
and
out.
everybody here is like, yeah. But you ask them a question like, what is how are we really giving up? It's a one-sided deal. What are we giving up to them? our gas prices are going to go up, you idiots.
Yeah, we're actually gonna, like I said, we're gonna lose out on it in some way, some way, shape, or form for sure.
It's just one of those tactics he tried with the trade deal.
Yeah,
It's just one of those things he thinks he can be like, no, we'll just take out. Let's try that and see if it works. Then if it don't.
Again, I agree with that to a degree. I mean, we got to try. You always try out there trying something, but it was just something that didn't need to be messed with. I think that's what it was. I think it was just something he said was a bad deal, and a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't popular.
I don't think American even gave a shit until he says it.
Right, and that's the thing. It wasn't popular, though, to the people that did pay attention to it because of, the terrorist groups and organizations that live there, but I understand, they're saying we don't negotiate with terrorists, and they want
to negotiate with them every
day because you created them. I know. Yeah. But anyway, guys, like I said, let us know what you think about the Iran deal. Should they have kept it? Should they got rid of it? I don't know.
Trade Trump to North Korea for... We'll do a three-way trade.
A three-way
trade. Give us, I don't know, give us something. There's got to be a leader out there. Give us the leader of one of those countries that never are involved and they have free life and smoke weed. What's it, like Finland or something?
Give me like the leader of Tanzania. Just for something exotic, But as always, guys, like I said, leave us a comment here and tell us what you think. Share the video if you enjoy it here. Like I said, if you want to get the full scoop. Like I said, we encourage you guys also always do your own research. Leave a like. As always, everybody stay beautiful.
Go to YouTube. Go to the YouTube page. Subscribe. Look at those because we're only putting clips on our pages. You got to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good shit.